Hey Passion Fam, it's Angelia Trinidad, CEO and founder of Passion Planner, and you're watching The Game Changer, where I share game-changing ideas that have helped me on my journey to becoming a millionaire. So today's topic is my top 10 tips of navigating post-grad life. Like if I could go back to younger Angel and tell her these things right when I graduated, right before I graduated, I would. Hopefully it's something that you find useful. So let's get into them. So the first one is to use your planner, and use your planner in the way that it's intended. So at the beginning of Passion Planner, you have a passion roadmap, and the passion roadmap really is that thing where you brain vomit all of the things that you're excited about in life, whether that is learning a new skill or doing something. After that, you're supposed to take the thing that's going to have the most positive impact in your life, and you break that down to steps in your game changer. So that will give you an instant feeling of direction, and that instant feeling of direction is something that you can be excited about. If you have this thing that's showing you, hey, you're making progress, even if it's just crossing off one checklist item, or like, I'm gonna schedule these 30 minutes to read, and then I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna check it off. Like that act, I think for me at least, really makes me feel like my life is moving in a positive direction that I want. So utilize your passion planner and utilize it as a tool that helps you stay excited about life. It's not supposed to be a chore. It's supposed to be a gift that you give yourself every day. So that's the first thing. The next thing is to try your best to avoid debt. I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend your money, because I really think money is a tool to help you live a more fulfilled life. And I don't think that you should hoard your money, but I also don't think that you should spend it so much that you become inundated with debt. And I know that some debt is like really hard to avoid, but I also understand to have financial freedom. Especially when you're young, it's very easy to say, hey, YOLO, we're gonna do whatever we want. And I'm saying that there's a little YOLO that you should do, but at the same time, be conscious about how debt affects you. Being really conscious about your money, being really conscious about your expenses, and asking yourself hey, can I borrow that? Or can I do with something less, is sometimes a good question to yourself before you purchase something, especially something big. So that's my second tip. My third tip is to try your very best not to compare yourself to others. So right when you graduate, some people will have a really strong plan of what they want to do next, and they'll want to have a job lined up, or an internship lined up, or grad school lined up. There's so many people living so many different lives that if you continue to compare yourself to others, it's always gonna make you feel like you're not enough. And it's kind of like this game that you're never gonna win, because there's no real winner. It's like we're all living, we're all existing, we're all on our own paths. If you use Passion Planner to focus on what you want and tell yourself, hey, I'm moving in the direction that I want, hopefully that is enough, as opposed to comparing yourself on social media or comparing yourself to people in general. Social media makes it so easy to do that. So utilizing a journal or utilizing a planner that is something that's private for you, that makes you feel like you're moving in the right direction, is a way that I have stopped myself from comparing myself to where people are on their own timeline. So don't compare yourself to others. So tip number 4 is, if you can make it work, travel. Traveling when you're young, when you don't have responsibilities, when you don't have kids, when you don't have a mortgage, it's so much easier to do it when you're young, right out of college. There's so many things that you can learn from travel, how big the world is, how different the world is, but how similar it is all at the same time. When I started at UCLA, I made it a point to interview a lot of the seniors that I knew, and I asked them, what is one thing that you wish that you did while you were here? And all of them, I would say 90% of them said study abroad. There's a lot of opportunities out there. Really be voracious and take the initiative to find them, because you never know what kind of new things you're gonna learn. So I think if you can make it work, travel is so important. Tip number 5 is to take on a internship in the industry that you're interested in. So a lot of people take any internship, and I think that that's okay too, because you're gaining experience. Why not make it directed and as intentional as possible? If you're interested in making film, intern for someone that makes film. If you're interested in being a director, intern for a director. Give your time for free. Tell them, hey, I will be your assistant, do whatever you need me to do, and I just want to be around, because you'll gain the experience of seeing what that job actually entails. You'll see the positives, you'll see the negatives, and you'll also make connections within that industry. Once someone understands that you provide value to them, they'll more likely provide value to you. So they'll give you advice or they'll give you insight, and you can potentially find a mentor or find like a peer. And I think that that's something that's really, really important. I think that if you can find an internship in the industry that you're interested in, that is like the really, really ideal. Being able to say, hey, I interned for this director and I was able to do X, Y, and Z, and these were my deliverables, it'll make you such a stronger candidate for that entry-level job that you're looking for. So definitely try to find an internship within the industry that you're interested in. So number 6 is to continue your learning through books or the internet. Primarily, I love learning through books. I've been reading continuously since I was a freshman in college. I felt like a lot of the stuff that I was learning in school was cool, but at the same time, it wasn't really applicable. So I really wanted to like learn content that I could apply right away. So I read lots of books about finance, self-help, starting small businesses, memoirs of people that have started small businesses. And I think it really shifted my mindset into what I thought was possible. It's crazy because we go through college and there's so many things that we're learning so quickly. We're learning like maybe 4 or 5 subjects intensely, like reading books, writing essays, and then we go out of college and we're like, you can't read one book. Utilize that power that you have from education and apply it to your life. That's gonna be so critical. And if you do that, you for sure will be able to figure out how to become successful in whatever field you want to pursue. So that's that. So tip number 7 is to find a mentor either online or in person. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I know everything, and I wish that I didn't have that attitude coming out of college. I feel like retrospectively, I would have really benefited from having a mentor that had walked the same path that I wanted to walk and be able to ask them questions. There's a great quote that says something like, life's short, you can't make all the mistakes, you have to learn from other people's mistakes. And I really think that's true. If you can save the time and the energy and the angst to learn a lesson through someone else's mistake, like why not? We have like a limited time on this planet to make something of our lives. We can't make all the mistakes. Utilizing a mentor, having that humility to say, hey, I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. Can you give me some sort of question or direction is gonna be really, really helpful. So that's my number 7. So number 8 is to create systems to keep you accountable. So for me, that's utilizing Passion Planner. That's utilizing my friends. So utilizing systems to keep you accountable is super important because in school, you have these all the time. They're called grades. But after you graduate, there's not clear-cut consequences for not doing something. What Passion Planner is this thing that helps you stay accountable, helps you figure out if I want to get to this goal, then I need to stay dedicated to these deadlines. I need to stay dedicated to these checkpoints. I need to stay dedicated to these habits. And through that, you will be able to feel like you're moving forward. And I think that's super important. One thing that I do with my life coach every week is he asks me like, hey, what do you want me to hold you accountable for this week? And even if you don't have money to have a life coach, you can have a friend that asks you that question. You can also do it in your planner. But what I found is having a real person to answer to really affects how I'm going to try my best to perform. Because I think that for me personally, like I don't like letting people down. Like if I say something, I want to try to keep my word. And sometimes when you write it down, it's there and it's stronger than not writing it down, but it's not as powerful as having someone hold you accountable. Tip number 9 is staying physically active and finding a routine to do that. It's been something that I've been working through. The thing that really helped me get out of depression was playing basketball, playing pickup basketball. That was so pivotal for me to be around people and be active and move my body. Doing something active will do so much, well, it's done so much for me for my mental health. Definitely would say find something that you like to do actively. So tip number 10 is don't take everything so seriously. So for me, I'm someone that's super serious. A lot of the times I have to tell myself like, hey, it's not that serious, you're gonna be fine. I think in the college system and prepping for the college system and going through the college system is really intense. We're just trying to constantly be so serious so we can achieve. And for me, being so serious takes a lot of fun out of things. And I think that post-grad life is a journey. It's not something that you're gonna get right away. There's gonna be so many times where you're gonna change your mind, and that's okay. A lot of times people don't change their mind because they take themselves so seriously. Like if you decide to do something differently than what you set out to do, the world's not gonna end. There's this great Oprah quote that I love where she says, you don't have to have your whole life figured out. You have to just figure out the next step. If you figure out the next step, and then you figure out the next right step, and you figure out the next right step, that's kind of how I like to approach my life. Like, life will be less stressful than trying to figure it out all at once. So those are my top 10 tips for navigating post-grad life. So hopefully this helps. If you like this video, please subscribe. Or if you want to share your own tip, leave it in the comments and I'll read it. So my tummy is grumbling, so I'm just gonna eat now. All right, bye.